It's officially sock season, aka Bombas season, the cushiest, most pillowy socks that also double as the best holiday gift. Bombas is the perfect holiday gift for your work bestie, your cousin, or that super picky friend, because no one says no to the snug, delicious feeling of new socks. I love Bombas socks. I'm actually wearing a pair right now, and I just bought myself. They have these new vintage half calf with like old school colored stripes at the top of them for myself. Maybe it should have been a gift for someone else, but huge fan. Don't be surprised if you end up keeping a few cozy things for yourself. Like I said, it's hard to resist their marshmallow soft slippers, plush merino tees, or their breathable undies. And as always, every item purchased equals an item donated to someone facing homelessness. So if you're ready to feel good and do good, head over to bombas.com/TMGW and use code TMGW for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/TMGW, code TMGW at checkout. This might get weird.
Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Well, then cheers, Grace Helbig.
Cheers, Mamrie Hart.
Grace is having a hot tea. I am having a lager. It is 5 o'clock in London, and it feels like midnight.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like... Honestly, I have no idea what day, what time. We say this normally.
Oh, no, we always say this.
When we're normally, our rhythms are balanced to the West Coast timetables. But this week especially... Could be any year, could be any month, could be any time of day right now.
Yeah, totally. I think I said on last week's podcast, I was like, they really shouldn't make election week on the week that the time change, but also combining that with then flying across the world. Yeah. It's a double doozy, but we are in Grace's hotel room. I'm randomly the one next door.
Yeah, this is so old school.
I know.
This is like, let's just sit on the edge of the bed. We'll jerry
do a video.
Camera onto a trash can in the windowsill, and we'll go from there and we'll see what happens.
This feels very spaghetti in bed video.
Yes, it does.
I looked and I was like, oh, there's my hair in a knot, me holding a pillow, we're in bed. This feels like Austin in 2016.
Yes.
So welcome back. We just wrapped up our 3 tour dates in Dublin and London, and wowie zowie. Also, Grace is a motherfucking trooper.
Oh my
because
God.
she has had a cold. She landed and then had a cold.
Like, it has been like a whirlwind of every spectrum of emotion, because this whole trip was like this awesome thing to go do shows again, and this sort of like silent signifier to me that like, oh, look at the year, how far I've come. And I was doing all this like prep to, like, I worked out at 5 a.m. before I got on my flight.
Are you serious?
Out here to try and like be like, I'm setting myself up for success. We do our first show in Dublin. I immediately get sick after the show. No one else is sick.
No.
You're fine. Chip's fine. Elliot is a little congested now, but was fine for a while. And I was like, what the fuck,
You
man?
did Beast Body at 5 a.m.?
Yes, I did.
That's a whole other level.
Because I did it once before when I was the first time. Well, I'm still learning to travel. Like, I'm learning to travel with this body, with this new body. And so it helps with anxiety for sure. And I did it in the summer when I went to the East Coast to see my family. And I was like, whoa, game changer. Working out before you get on a flight, because you land later in the day, so like the whole day is gone. I was like, I feel so much more comfortable on this plane.
Good for you.
But like, still took the flight out here, didn't sleep in a wink on any of the flights. Didn't help at all, and then immediately got sick. So, but that said, so I didn't feel well, which was frustrating and annoying, but the shows and everyone that came to it was so lovely.
Energizing, invigorating, breath of fresh air.
Like the competing emotions of just being so pissed off to not feel great while having like the greatest people support and create such a lovely environment was just like, it's exhausting.
Yeah, shout out if you came to the shows. Here's what I'll say, and this is not going to be a podcast where I just complain the whole time. Something
you
new
saw
and different.
enough of that in the shows.
Something new and different for me. But I will say, I am really feeling jet lag differently in the last year.
Really?
Like, I feel like And it's also like, I took a sleeping pill to go to sleep the other night. That's how bad it was. I was just staying up all night.
Yeah. Mamrie
It's crazy.
is very, what would you call that? Virginal about sleep medication.
I'm so no. Grace is like, I'm
like, give me every gummy, give me every pill, knock me out.
Well, we went to the pharmacy to be like, do you have a sleep aid? And listen, nothing scares me more than medicine, and then add in medicine in a different language. Or not, it wasn't even in a different language. We were in Ireland. but
you're like,
you know what I mean?
What is this measured in? How much is each dose?
Right. Am I going to be knocked out? Like, is this going to tranquilize me? I get so nervous. So the fact that I was so desperate after a couple nights of like falling asleep for 2 hours, waking up, then being up literally all night.
Yeah, you
from
guys
like 2 to 8 a.m.
up. Yeah, you were having involuntary slumber parties.
Exactly. And neither of us wanted to be there. You know, we were both the kids at the slumber party that were like, my mom's making me. It's my second cousin. Like, I don't want to be here. It's our parents know each other. I took a sleep pill and I was like, that's when you know it's crazy.
Yeah, that you need some sleep.
You would think it was heroin to me. Truly.
Well, it's also the excitement of doing, like, we haven't done shows in 2 years.
That adrenaline. I know.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. I looked it up because I was like, what did we do on our last tour? And it was spring 2022. And I thought, I think this is the longest I've gone not being on stage.
Yeah.
In my adult life of performing.
Pre-COVID or post-COVID or something like that.
No, even when we had COVID, we like didn't perform for a year.
Yeah.
But not two.
Not two. I know. So it was like getting your sea legs under you. And also, you're like, do people still want to see this?
Does anyone give a shit? Luckily, they did, you guys. And let me tell you, y'all listening. And this, let me gush for 1 second.
Yeah.
There were people who flew in from Switzerland, Belgium, Poland, Hungary, Denver,
Australia, Toronto, all over the place.
It was wild.
And yes, we don't know geographically how close some of those countries might be to where we currently are.
I know. Some people were like, it's really...
It's like coming into New York from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they were like, it's 2 hours. It'll take you longer to drive across. But there was one person who came to our show in Dublin, and his name is Arno. And he was from Belgium, and he was so sweet, and he made us laugh, and was wearing the cutest little floral sweatshirt. And then that night, we go out after our show. We go get some drinks with Grace and Elliot's friend who lives in Ireland. Pete. And then we go to, is it called Supermax? Supermax, which is their original McDonald's.
Pete and his friend Leonie was talking it up like crazy. She gave us basically the whole history of Supermax. And then we were all trying to scavenge to find like a McDonald's. None of those were open. Yeah. But Supermax
was there.
Supermax / Papa John's.
I got a slice of pizza to go. It was incredible. I didn't know they could do that. But so we're there, and one of the people who he came by himself from Belgium was behind us at Supermax. Then the next day I go to the airport. He's behind me as I'm dropping my bag. And then I'm like, oh, good to see you. You know, I do like the wave and whatever. And then I leave. We come up behind him at security. We're together in line of security. I'm just like, I told Chip, I go, if this had a soundtrack on it, it could have easily looked like he was stalking me or I was stalking him.
Yeah.
Like it was like back and forth, spy versus spy. And then
this is like a Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, exactly. Bit. Or there is an episode of Tenacious D, the old school when they had an HBO show.
Oh, yeah?
Where they have a stalker and then they go to try to talk to him and he doesn't really want to hang out. So they start stalking their single stalker.
Yeah.
But so Arno, I was like, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast. How like we ran into each other at a fast food place at middle of the night. And then that and then that. And he goes, oh, you will kill me. You want to kill me. If you say this on the podcast, you will kill me. So, Arno, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming to the show.
And whoever's reading his eulogy currently at his funeral, I hope it's a lovely funeral.
They're playing this soundbite.
It was so sweet.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even know where to begin. I think the last couple weeks have been a lot to process. So this especially is like, holy shit.
I think these are a few interesting episodes of the pod because we haven't felt normal in a minute. Mm-hmm. And the next podcast episode, we're going to be zooming in from 2 different countries. So it's not going to feel normal.
Yeah.
Did I tell you how my trip started?
No, which is like a week ago. So I'm like, when was that?
Well, it was exactly, is it Saturday?
Today's Sunday.
We left on Saturday.
Yeah.
So a week ago, Grace.
What happened?
So we have a lock on our front door that's a code.
Yeah, we do too.
It's very nice that I never have to use a key.
Yeah.
And you don't know.
Because you know we'll lose that shit.
Girl.
You lose a credit card every other week.
Girl. Like literally, it wasn't until I didn't have to use a key that I realized how much I hate having to find a key. It's the same thing with my car.
Yep.
If it's in my purse, it'll open. But so anyway, I was doing this thing where like you would put in the code and you would spin the deadbolt, but it just kept spinning and it wasn't coming out.
Yeah.
You'd have to do it like 10 times.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I was like, I don't trust Mary not to freak out.
Mary watching the dogs.
She's going to have to do. Mary is staying with Beans and Larry. And I was like, she's going to be like, this isn't working, and not want to try 10 times because it's annoying.
Yeah,
you know what
for
I mean?
sure.
So I did what I never do. We have a bottom knob with a lock, and I was like, let me find the key to this. We've never used it.
Old school.
Old school. So I have, in the junk drawer, I also have a little thing of keys where I'm like, I don't know where the hell these go.
Yeah.
I found it on the first try, the key. So I said to Mary, I was like, look, this thing can be a little finicky now. I'm going to leave you a key to the bottom knob. It'll be under the mat.
Okay.
Easy breezy. So we call an Uber the next morning. We're getting ready to go. The key's giving me some,
Trouble.
actually being able to lock it from the inside and then close the door.
Uh-oh.
It's giving me a little problems, but I got it.
Okay.
I got it. I leave the key. We get to the airport. We timed it perfectly. We go to the Delta Lounge. We get a breakfast plate. We get a glass of sparkling of champagne. Not actually champagne, but Prosecco.
It's we did the Delta Lounge too. Honestly, I haven't done it for a while. It's
welcome back, bitch.
Yeah. It's like old country buffet, but rich.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I will make money by eating as much as I can.
Yeah, it's not Golden Corral. It's Platinum Corral.
Yeah, I was paying for Elliot to enter, and then by the second time, they're like, you have 4 vouchers for free to get someone else in. I was like,
guess I'm booking some more flights.
well, I'm going to have to let him in, but we're going to have to eat our weight today.
I'm coming to my favorite bar in Los Angeles, the Delta Lounge. So anyway, so we're there. We've got about 20 minutes till we need to head to our gate. It's perfect. Phone call from Mary.
Oh, no.
This key doesn't work. This key does not work. And I'm like, it does. I tested it several times. It works. So, and then Chip was like, did you accidentally switch keys? I'm like, no, I know. Because he was loading up the Uber.
Yeah.
So automatically he thinks like, what did you do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. And so we wonder if it's human error. We have a friend of Chip's, Alex, in the neighborhood who lives by. He had him just come over and try to help her.
Yeah.
She was offended. He was like, dude, this like nothing's moving with the key. And I get a text from Mary that goes, well, I've been vindicated. It wasn't just me not being able to open a door. I was like, oh, here we go. I'm about to leave for 2 weeks. I'm on Mary's bad side,
I'm
right?
not just an incapable old woman, Mamrie.
Literally, I've been vindicated. Okay. So I go, oh, shit. So
she's going in to watch your most prized living possession.
Yeah. And can't
you're
get in
pissing
there.
her off.
And can't get in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Break
and so
glass.
Also, she doesn't have an iPhone. So we can't message from the flight.
Oh, shit.
And we are now headed to go board in 5 minutes.
Oh, fuck.
Call my landlord. He's like, oh, I'm out of town. Is everything okay? Because he could come over and fix it.
Yeah.
I fucking Yelp a locksmith.
Oh, my God.
Call a locksmith. They're like, we can be there in 2 hours. I'll be on the plane, right? So I get a locksmith to come out.
Oh, my God.
And completely change the whole like doorknob to my house.
Wow.
And fit a new key to it.
Wow.
But like Grace...
The panic.
This trip started with so much stress of being like, I'm about to be in the air for so many hours and I'm not going to know if
what's going on.
My dog sitter got in.
Yeah.
If like, he never showed up, if the credit card I sent a picture of works. Like it was like wild.
Last time, weren't you in the air while the election was happening?
Yes, to Lisbon.
Yeah.
So to go interview Jake Paul, you guys.
Okay, I don't even want to say it because it's all over my fucking social media and I don't give a shit.
Get in there, Grace.
I'm always the
angry
shit.
one.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Get it out of there. I'm sick of it. Oh, he boxed an elderly man. Incredible. I don't give a shit.
I know. It's really...
They both made $80 billion each. I don't give a shit.
Well, there are... Now that I'm on this conspiracy theory, Jane.
Yeah. What happened to the YouTubers boxing each other?
Oh, my God. I forgot that was That's how he kind of got into it,
There
right?
was a funny episode of John and Hank's podcast where they, I think, were lightly talking about them doing that.
I mean,
they would make so much money if the two of them were scheduled to box each other.
but they would look like actual kangaroos boxing each other.
They would be so. I would pay for them not to, because I'd be like, this is gonna hurt you guys emotionally more than it's gonna hurt physically.
I will pay you to not actually make contact with each other's face. But when I was watching, I didn't watch any of the fight, obviously. It was like a nice reason to be over here too, where the timing didn't work out. Because if I'd been in the US,
would you have watched it?
I might have gotten curious.
Oh God.
And I fucking sorry, I forget we're on a podcast that goes out to people. I don't like Jake Paul.
Yeah, no, not my cup of tea.
But some people said they were like, Tyson made a few contacts in the first few rounds, and I watched one clip where it was like, oh, this is where he remembered he wasn't allowed to win.
Oh yeah.
There's all that kind of stuff. But regardless,
we're spinning in conspiracy theories these days.
Listen, if Joe Rogan gets the views.
Most Americans think that they spend about $62 per month on subscriptions, but the real number is closer to $300. And that is a big difference. Even if just a couple of subscriptions fall off your radar, those recurring payments you don't even know about can really add up. For me, I had a ton of old editing apps on my phone that I didn't realize I was paying for yearly or monthly. But thanks to Rocket Money, I'm no longer losing money because of the subscriptions I forgot about. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. See all of your subscriptions in one place and know exactly where your money is going. For any of you that don't want any more, Rocket Money can help you cancel them with just a few taps. Rocket Money's dashboard gives you a clear view of your expenses across all of your accounts, so you can easily create a personalized budget with custom categories to keep you spending on track. See your money spending trends in each category to know exactly where your money is going. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you, sometimes by up to 20%. They automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save, then can ask them to negotiate for you. They'll deal with the customer service. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. So stop wasting your money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/TMGW. That's rocketmoney.com/TMGW. One more time, rocketmoney.com/TMGW.
If there's one thing about me that I love more than food, it's my love of travel. In fact, I am recording this ad right now from Paris, baby. Woot woot. But when you travel as much as I do, you gotta get into the miles game. So let's talk about Capital One miles. Capital One miles are unique because you can use them to offset any travel purchase at a rate of 1 cent per point. No special portals or complex booking methods needed. And speaking of portals, you can also get access to an exclusive travel portal full of more deals, and you can transfer your points out to an extensive list of transfer partners, as well to book direct with airlines. You guys, trust me, once you get into this world, once you realize the mathematics, you will be kicking yourself for not taking advantage of miles this whole time. And right now, you can earn 75,000 bonus miles with Capital One's welcome offer on the Venture Rewards credit card. Plus, the card earns 2 times Capital One miles on everything. You got to get in there. Capital One was the first credit card I ever got, true story, and I have never looked back. So if you're already daydreaming up your next almost as good as free trip, my friends over at Daily Drop wrote up 7 reasons why you need the Capital One Venture Rewards credit card. Check it out using the link in the description. That's Daily Drop for 7 reasons why you need this Capital One Venture Rewards credit card. Here we are. But anyway, my trip started incredibly stressful.
Yeah, so you're going to go back home to a new lock on your door. So was it the key?
So I was vindicated.
Oh, okay.
Because Chip, of course, was just like, you
fucked up.
You fucked up somehow.
Yeah,
you fucked up, whatever. And I was like, I swear I didn't.
Yeah.
I tested it 3 times while you were loading up the Uber. I set the lock and then I left and whatever. So it just hadn't been used. Like I've been there 8 years.
Right.
A spring broke. from her trying to open it and it not going. So
she's so strong.
She's so strong. She's so strong. So anyway, she's withholding pictures of Beans. We'll get through this.
Yeah, I did see a photo of Beans that she sent. Beans is also struggling without you there. Beans is in a shirt, but she's half on, half off. She's got
Just
food
like
all
Mama.
over her mouth.
It's a vibe, but like pristine portraits of Larry.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so it was only going up from there.
Yeah, of course. Now that the pups are taken care of, how could it get any worse? Yeah, we didn't have like crazy flight stuff happen on the way out. I just haven't been on a flight for that long in a while.
We haven't been to Europe.
I haven't been to Europe
time.
For a long time.
I guess it's been a year for me, but yes, it feels like longer.
Yeah, but I did overhear. Did I write it down? I was overhearing behind us. Oh yes, when we land, because we had a layover in JFK, and there was a woman behind me. Like I was kind of doing my own thing the whole flight, and then as soon as we landed and we were taxiing to the gate, I could hear the man and woman behind me talking. This woman was probably, I think we were landing at like 8 p.m. New York time, and this woman was probably in her like 60s.
Okay.
Yeah. Sue. Let's say a sensible 45-year-old Sue from Survivor.
Okay. Ooh.
We were just talking about Survivor earlier. And I was like, oh, okay, what are they talking about? Because we land, and the guy is 40, because you'll hear. I was like, oh, she's flirting with him.
Oh, I love to overhear a flirt.
Yeah, I could hear, you can just hear the tone of voice that
Changes.
you're like, and I like did a quick little just like, I'm stretching my back.
I'm stretching my back.
And I looked, and she was like full on across the thing.
Oh,
just
across
like,
the aisle flirt?
No, not the aisle, the handrest.
Handrest,
armrest, like full on like, I took body language 101 and I'm letting you know I'm available.
I took a class from the Learning Annex from Patty Stanger.
Yeah, exactly. And I hear her go, well, you're home already. And then he goes immediately, yeah, to my beautiful wife and 3 kids. He says,
there we
literally,
go.
Beautiful wife. And so my ears are like, game on, here we go. And she just goes, oh, how old are they? And he goes, like 11, 8, 7.
Okay, it's a long marriage.
And she goes, and how old are you? And I was like, did you guys just start talking? Like,
Yeah.
this is a 6-hour flight that we
Right.
were on. He goes, 40. And she goes, wow. Well, that must be a lot for your wife.
Ooh, burn.
Like, damn. And he was like, yeah, but she's the best. Like, just
trying to,
complimentary things.
deflecting.
Yeah, and I missed the beginning part because I'm pretty sure, because I was like, oh, this is out of context. I'm like trying to piece this puzzle together. I'm pretty sure she said something to the degree that she's out of a long-term relationship and she's meeting up with a friend in New York to have like a girl's,
right.
Oh. To have like a or someone like I don't know if it's girl or guy,
Okay.
to have like a fun weekend, because she was asking him for restaurant recommendations for them in the city.
Oh, and she's like, you're home. Do you
Yeah.
want to come to my hotel before you go home?
I was like, whoa, yes to my beautiful wife and 3 kids.
Good for you.
Wow.
Honestly, I would like, that would be the biggest turn on if you heard your partner
Oh,
reject someone for you.
it's like, and I looked around. This woman was a very attractive
I'm sure.
woman.
Yeah.
I was like, and she was not too much. I was just like, oh, this is an interesting situation happening back here. My
I loved
beautiful wife and 3 kids. Wow.
overhearing a flirt.
Well, because he was also, you could tell he was aware of how
Quiet it got.
Yeah, because once the
so
cabin,
they were flirting in the plane.
Yeah, they were flirting before we were all allowed to like stand up and get our stuff. And so it
Copy.
was like, you know, the air kind of goes off a little bit. You don't hear the taxiing
You're
noises
in
anymore.
a noise machine.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I can't tell if she's just like red wine in
But
or
also, that's a 6-hour flight. You don't start flirting upon landing.
right. That's why I was like, damn, I was watching my own programs and doing my own thing. I missed whatever the lead up to this was.
Grace, how old are we that you're now calling them
Programs.
programs?
Oh my
is
God.
it because we're in the
I have
in the UK, or is it because we're old?
Both. I have realized so much. I'm an old person. I take
Yeah.
photos of my computer screen to send to people now with my phone.
Sometimes it's
Like,
easier. Sometimes it's easier.
I have taken, okay, first of all, I got a new iPhone a couple weeks ago, and it's smaller than the Pro that I had before.
Okay.
I don't
Can't
know.
see shit.
That's me just giving an excuse. My finger is in every photo I take now and every video I take. I am an old person. I sent you a video the other day and I was like, there's my fucking finger in the beginning of it, trying to move it out of the way. Every photo I send to Elliot, I have to crop because my finger's in the bottom of it. And I'm like, what have I become? What have I become? And we have all these
truly.
like wonderful young people coming to our shows. And I'm like, what do you guys like about us? We don't know how to do anything anymore.
Do you just enjoy watching the slow decline of the coolest people to the... Speaking of coolest people.
Yeah.
We had our show last night. It was our second show. And it was a daytime show. It was 3:30, but it gets dark here at freaking 4:00.
Yeah. I mean, like it does in the States, I guess, too.
I know, but it just feels different. I guess it's because we live in LA where there aren't tall buildings like this.
Yeah.
So you like the shadows get cast. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And the sun is out most days in Los Angeles. So you get like peaks of sun here and then it goes away and it's dark.
Yeah. And like, so I slept till, like 11 and then I have this weird anxiety that I wasted the day. Yeah. And one of my reoccurring nightmares is being on a vacation and leaving and realizing I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
That's a reoccurring nightmare I have.
I'm pretty okay being like, you know what? I did my best. As soon as I got sick, I looked at Elliot. I was like, it's bed for me every day. And that's because I've been to London before. Very privileged to be able to come here. And it is on my short list of cities I love.
I get it.
And so in my head, I'm like, we'll do a redo when I feel better. Because there's so much fun to have here.
There's so much to do, but also, and Chip said it when I was like feeling weird and guilty, and we like the first day we got here, we walked like 20,000 steps, and we went and we saw like Buckingham Palace, and it was the King's birthday, so there was like everything was blocked off, and we saw like the marching band come through, and like people were excited. We did some things, but really, and today we went to Big Ben or whatever. But at the end of the day, he was like, what are you supposed to do besides just like walk around and drink and eat things?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, honestly, that is the vibe.
That is the vibe.
I'm not a person who gets like... Oh my God, this sentence. I said, I'm not a person who gets down with history. Hi, I'm your substitute teacher. But I don't need to go read plaques.
Yeah,
I don't.
You don't need to sign up for a walking tour or those sorts of things.
No, I'm more of like a food tour, a booze tour. Mm-hmm. Like that's my vibe. So I don't feel as bad because I've been here several times. But what was I gonna say?
That your reoccurring nightmares that you've left without doing something.
But it was also about when I got here. Yesterday, we had our show. Everyone was great. Oh,
matinee.
When we left the show.
Yeah.
When we left the meet and greet, we were like texting Chip and Elliot, the Morgan boys, to be like, okay, what bar did you guys go to? We'll meet you.
Yeah.
And we come outside and they are holding court.
They had groupies. Absolutely wonderful. And
Chip was like, they were waiting for you. We were just entertaining them. But I'm still like, it was a marvel to walk out to.
Well, it's so
cute.
I've talked to you about this a little bit, that it's so funny for me to watch Chip in this space. Because we haven't done this for a while, and I don't often get to see Chip, in this world. Like Elliot exists in this world a little bit of entertainment and performance, and so for Chip to be like known but like not a performer is like so funny to me. I love it. I think it's great. But Elliot, was making jokes about them being groupies. I was like, it's probably a lot of lesbians. To be honest.
I don't think...
Sweet, wonderful, wonderful lesbians.
They were not trying to steal ya. And if they were, you should have said my lovely wife and 3 kids. But we did have a tragedy yesterday. On the way to the show, we took an Uber.
Oh, yeah.
And that Uber driver burped. And it was the worst thing I've ever experienced.
I wore my mask. It's the only thing that I benefited from being sick. I was wearing my mask, and I was in a totally different universe than the rest of you.
It was so gross.
I had no idea. At one point, Elliot and I were talking about this last night and laughing really hard about it. He's like, I thought Mamrie was going to launch her body out of the cab. Because at one point, you just opened the window, and I was like, oh, I think she's just anxious because now we're running late because they're in so much traffic.
No, I said, who burped?
Oh.
And then I rolled out. I was scared it was Chip.
Oh, that he let one go.
I was scared, but I was also like, it was so distinctly a sausage.
Chip said, if you showed me 3 different sausages, I could point out which one that man ate.
I
like, well, I guess I win for being sick and having to wear a mask in the cab.
I was like, I started dry heaving. Oh my God, thinking about it. But I rolled down the window, but we're in dead traffic. So no air is coming in.
None.
And I'm just losing it. We're just sitting in this kielbasa. But with like everyone being, like kind of polite. Like if it had been in a friend's car and that had happened, I would have literally like done a tight 5 making fun of that person.
Yeah.
But since we so knew that it was the cab driver.
Yeah.
And like we just had to sit there in silence. I looked at Chip and I was like, fennel seeds, raw garlic.
This is like
I was like, I
awful
know
Top Chef challenge.
Paprika. I know. I truly was like, this is a reverse blind taste test because of how disgusting this man's burp was.
Yeah. Well,
God bless.
I was literally like, in my own world. Wow, we're running late. Okay, what's my bit? Let me go through it.
I was dying out the window. We walked past that area today and we saw a hot dog sausage stand, and Chip was like, you want to go find it? We can go find what sausage she ate.
Damn.
Anyway, that was probably, I'm going to say, when housewives sit down and say, what was your rose and what was your thorn?
Yeah, was your thorn?
That was my thorn.
Wow. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and that it's exactly what I wanted feeling. They scour the globe for original, handmade, absolutely remarkable things. Somehow, they know exactly the perfect gift for every single person you know. I love Uncommon Goods. I've been going to this website to buy specifically uncommon gifts for years, and I can't say enough good things about it. One year, I got my family all of these personalized candles that were scented to certain regions like New Jersey or Brooklyn or Boston, depending on where people live, Philadelphia. This year, I bought myself a funny shaped flower vase that is a banana. So sometimes you have to buy uncommon gifts for yourself too. When you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. Many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches, so shop now before they sell out this holiday season. And Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the US. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts that you can personalize. From holiday host and hostess gifts to the coolest finds for kids to hits for everyone from book lovers to diehard sports fans, Uncommon Goods has something for everyone. Not the same old selection you could find just anywhere else, and with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give back $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. So far, they've donated more than $3 million to date. So get 15% off your next gift at uncommongoods.com/weird. That's uncommongoods.com/weird for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods. We're all out of the ordinary.
It's that time of year where we get all these incredible countdowns for the best of 2024. And let me tell you, Audible is no different. Their best of 2024 picks are here. So you can discover the year's top audiobooks, podcasts, and originals in all your favorite genres, from memoirs to sci-fi to mysteries to thrillers. Don't know why I did that. From romance and well-being to fiction, Audible's carefully curated list is in every category, and it's the best way to hear 2024's best of the year in audio entertainment, and like almost unbelievably star-studded production of George Orwell's 1984, which both honors and reinvigorates the terrifying classic. It's one of the best original dramatizations we have ever heard. Or if romance is what's hitting the spot, try Emily Henry's Funny Story. You know I'm a big fan from our book club of Emily Henry. They even have heartfelt memoirs like Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's lovely one. So listen to the year's best fiction like The Women by Kristen Hanna or Percival Everett's brilliantly subversive James. So many titles, so many audiobooks, so many podcasts, originals. You got to get in there and see for yourself. For example, I am currently going back and forth right now with Ina Garten's new memoir, which is going to be our Barflies book club next pick. I am reading the book and listening to the book, and I love to double dip, baby. I do it with most everything I listen to / read. So give it a shot. Audible. There is more to imagine when you listen. Go to audible.com/TMGW and discover all the year's best waiting for you.
I will say it has been, I've never really done this over here before,
Yeah.
but I've watched a lot of cable TV.
Oh, yeah. It gets the UK cable TV is crazy. We've talked about it the first time I ever went to Ireland, and I turned on the TV and it was like, you can have a meal by the most famous chef in Ireland, but you have to slaughter your own.
What?
You slaughter your own animal. I was like, this place is fucking crazy.
This is the cable selection. I got I was so out of my brain last night. I was telling Elliot, I was like, this cable selection, like if this was a bowl of candy, it would all be raisins. What's going on here?
Yeah.
This is chaos. One, there's British Cops, which is on 24 hours a day.
But they're having a good time, right?
People are doing things.
Okay.
People similar to what's going on in the United States, but
right.
just some accents. Honestly, I didn't spend too much time there. 4 in a Bed. Have you heard this? I actually watched some of this in the States.
Is 4 in a Bed where they watch other people watch TV?
No, that's Gogglebox, which I also love.
What's 4 in a Bed?
4 in a Bed is a reality program where 4 people that each own Airbnbs or bed and breakfasts, they all go take turns staying at each other's things, and then they rate each other.
Yeah.
And then, so it's broken into 2 different episodes. Have you seen this? Mm-mm. So the first episode is each Airbnb or bed and breakfast getting highlighted and each person's experience. Yeah. It's very HGTV in terms of quality.
Totally. They used to have a dinner party show like this in the UK.
Yes.
Feels similar.
And then the second episode, so they all determine how much they're going to pay for the room, whether they're going to pay full price or if they're going to pay less.
You can chip people?
Yeah. And then they all sit at a big table.
I think that's actually a slur. You can cheat people?
Yeah. And so at the end, or the second episode, all 4 couples sit at a big table and they go around and they get to like call each other out on why they wrote these comments down, why they underpaid, and it was getting spicy.
Really? Yes, spicier than the sausage I smelled in the cabin?
Yeah, because there's an American guy who I think was married to some like maybe she was Irish or Scouse, I'm not sure, but they created like
what is Scouse?
Scotland. That's what people were telling us we got to go to Scotland and do. Like, there's a show. The only reason I know that is because let me make sure.
Wait, were you just describing a Scottish person?
Yeah.
She's Scouse?
I thought so.
It's a hearty stew.
It's a hearty stew, but I thought, what does Scouse mean in British slang? Oh, someone from Liverpool.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was Scottish. Guys, I've gotten many things wrong. At the Dublin show, I made a joke that they were part of the UK. Wrong. I made a joke about a queen. Wrong. It was wrong.
It was rough.
Thankfully, we're charming.
Yeah, truly, thankfully. We just wiggle right back out of it. You'd be like, oh, she's a Scouse.
Oh, you're not here for facts.
Hearty
you're here for
stew.
fun.
Okay, so anyway, back to the show.
So this guy was like, they were like a 50s diner kind of thing with like Harleys and like that old retro like chrome
like
everything.
Americana 50s.
And this guy was like doing his full like he was
Happy
like,
Days,
almost like a Guy Fieri more like kind of vibe. They did like a party because you have to like show a good time to your guests. Like, how would you host them?
You have to entertain them as well.
So they all do like, here's what we would do locally. Like, we can go to this restaurant or see this thing. They hosted a drag queen, like party where they made over all of these older women as drag queens. And then they basically got in a fight with this other couple the whole time who was like, it was too loud. Everything was too loud. And the guy was like, I don't really agree with that because he's American. And it was just, I had a great time watching it.
Okay, so you found something you liked.
4 in a Bed. But I will say, and we talked about this, watching the programming out here, I realized like we got to get in the mix out here.
I know.
There's like 20 to 30, it feels like, presenters and comedians that just get passed around between every talk show and chat show.
Yeah.
And I see them on every single program cross-pollinating. And I'm like, how do we get in that mix?
Yeah, what's that agency?
Exactly.
And can we join it here?
Right. We're trying to dip our toes in.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'd like to come over here more. I mean, it's about to get real cold. But I love being over here. And when Chip and I went out the other night and went and got beers and we were going to go hang out with the Sorted Food Boys.
Yeah.
And you were going to come, but you weren't feeling well. And it was like their office was far away. Yeah. You know, Sweet Barry was like, I'll just hop on a bike and come see you for a minute and like give you a hug. So and nice. I was like, I forget that we have people here that we are like legitimately friends with.
I know. And I have a couple other friends that have reached out that saw I was here. And I was just like, I've just been unwell and I have to like hunker down in between shows. So I don't want to get anyone sick, but
Totally.
I know this has very much made me want to come back in a big way and see how we can get in this.
Get in this. Yeah, if you are a producer, a casting director, have any connection to these British shows that just kind of, it's just
get us on Taskmaster. But like, that's the big one.
That's the big one. But also, like, what would the genre be? Just like fucking around?
Yeah, they're like chat shows. We watched this show the other night. I forget what it was called, but it was basically, I was like, Elliot, this is like your dream gig.
Yeah.
It was like 3 comedians hosting like a pseudo-political cultural talk show, but told in a comedic way.
Right.
And they were just having like open talk about Trump and everything, which has been very interesting to just see how openly they shit on Trump on the TV here.
Beautiful.
That I'm like, this is really helpful to watch. There's something cathartic about this.
It's gorgeous.
Gogglebox was going off about it. I was like, this is great. But then they do like these ridiculous like stunts and like bits in between, so it's like very like showy, I guess.
We'll get in there. Oh, well, speaking of British television though.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about Great British Bake Off? Because we caught up last night.
Yeah, because they get it on Tuesdays out here, and we finally caught up. I mean, yeah, Dylan's fucking crushing it.
Dylan's crushing it.
I mean, he's untouchable, right?
I think so. And the fact that he's 20 years old is blowing my mind.
I mean, you can tell that Paul Hollywood is almost angry about how good he is and how he is doing things that Paul Hollywood has never seen or tasted before.
Right, totally. Like the gochujang bread and this and that.
But at what point do you call him a professional versus an amateur?
Because I think he's never been,
paid.
Not having gone to school.
Okay. I thought he was in school or something. Like he wanted to be a chef.
For pastry?
I thought he said something about wanting to be like a savory chef.
Oh.
But I don't know. That might have been just like a out of context
Yeah, but
thing.
that's also like the rules are a little willy-nilly because also sometimes like, let's say on Dancing with the Stars, which I don't watch, but I know, it'll be like, okay, well, here's a TikToker who's had professional dance lessons.
Right.
And you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, of course she's
Like
going to
Sheena
outdance the dad from Family Matters.
Like Sheena's taking dance lessons on the off chance she gets called.
Right. But like Caitlin Bristow, she won it. She was a dance teacher.
Right.
And I love her, but like she was a dance teacher when she went on The Bachelor.
Yeah.
So like where's that blurred line of like professional versus not?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I don't know if that show prides itself on its integrity of contestants.
No, I don't either. I really don't. I've never watched
What
it.
do they have? Oh, Strictly is their version out here.
Strictly. Yes.
Everyone talks about that too. It's wild.
Man.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Well, while we are feeling nice and chilly and cozy, our cameras are overheating and our equipment is saying, you got to go.
Yeah. I don't even know what we were talking about, but the camera overheated and I don't trust it to not do that again. As a woman that gets hot flashes, I identify with this camera and I want to give it the benefit of the doubt.
I have been roasting in these beds, like I said it last night, like a Nando's chicken.
Oh, that's what we haven't had while we're here.
That's the most fun thing to do at these shows, though, is be like, let me plug in some references and see if they work at all.
And they either do or do not at all.
My traffic joke killed on the
really
A219.
It really did crush.
Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. We will probably have one more of these from the road where Grace is in a different country and I'm in a different country. And then we'll be back to the little back house and not during an election week and maybe feel like a little normals.
Yeah. And thank you to everyone that came out to these shows.
My God.
It really was so special. I can't emphasize that enough. I mean, 7 years ago or 10 years ago when we saw people at different things out here, it was just so lovely. And the space was just so warm and supportive. It was just, really unique and very special.
It's exactly what we needed.
Yeah, exactly.
And it got weird.
Yeah.